Okay, here we go. It's another movie review. I guess this is my fifth movie review. And this one is about, sorry, Just Cause. Just Cause. I just watched this movie last night, so it's very fresh in my mind. Just Cause. And I remember this movie back when it came out. When did it come out now? 1995. I remember like seeing ads for it. I don't think I ever saw it. But it's got like, I like the post, I like the cover. Look at that, like it's got a nice look, the DVD. Um, it's an interesting movie. I mean, ultimately, I'd say it's a bad movie. I mean, but it seems, it's a funny one. It's a funny movie. So it's got good actors. I mean, Sean Connery, Laurence Fishburne. I mean, right there. I think Ray Harris is in it. Or Ed Harris, sorry, before he was as big a star as he became. Um, but yeah, I mean, the thing about the movie is, so it's kind of like a crime thriller, legal thriller kind of thing, where so Blair Underwood, who's also in it, is like the guy who's accused of murder, and he's on death row in Florida, right? And so the first half of the movie, which is actually pretty decent, is kind of going with this. It comes from this angle of this kind of racial injustice in the South, so which was interesting, obviously it's always fun to watch those movies, or there's been some really good movies, you know, in that guise or whatever. Like there's some really great ones. So me, I have never seen it. I'm like, oh, maybe this is gonna be a really good movie. You know, and so that's the first half of the movie, and really it follows that line. Sean Connery's the lawyer, Fishburne is the police detective who put away Blair Underwood, and his name is, I think, Bobby D or something in the movie, and and so there was kind of this forced confession, cop is beating Blair Underwood, and all this stuff. So Sean Connery gets the conviction overturned after, and he's coming back after years and years later. The person who was killed was a young girl, like a 11-year-old girl, and so it's all following this kind of line of like this conviction was wrong, so in that way, they set that up fairly well. Where it goes bad, in my opinion, is it kind of then the twist is that Blair Underwood actually was the killer. And so and like the evidence was kind of concocted by one of his death row cellmates or whatever, or like not cellmates, but somebody else on death row, and to get Bobby D out, to get Blair Underwood out. And that then it's kind of like, well, it creates a weird, message, right? Because then all of a sudden, the police brutality and the forced confession and all these things, and the Southern racism were all like justified because Bobby D was the killer, actually, despite the fact that the police did all this stuff that was wrong. And so that's a weird kind of, right? I mean, that's a weird message. It's just like, well, I mean, I get it sometimes that, I mean, like I'm sure that could happen, and so it's not like that's, but it's just kind of like for a film, you come out and you're like, well, there's all this racial injustice and there's like these police beatings and everything, and then to say, well, actually, all those things led us to the killer, so they're just, it's like, well, I don't know, that's a strange thing. And then it kind of went on, like, one by the time that, like, the balloon had popped on the film, because then it kind of really unwinds into all these weird twists towards the end, and you're kind of like, or I was, I did not, you know, care that much by the end. Like, all of a sudden, like, Sean Connery's character and none of it. It's like you're not really, or I wasn't invested in any of them. After that twist went badly, and then they kind of rushed it too. I mean, they kind of spirals out to, there's car chases and stuff. I mean, it's just not. They didn't. It ultimately not a good movie. Not quite a good enough story. I mean, I guess, or it didn't work, unfortunately. Despite the fact that they had a good cast, and it's in Florida. It's in the Florida Everglades, so kind of cool location. You got the alligators. I love alligators in movies. Bring them on. It's always that kind of cool Florida vibe. A lot of good movies happen in Florida, like Identity Thief. A great one with Jason Bateman. And what's Margaret? I can't remember her name, but whatever. Mary McCarthy or something. Whatever. She's great too. That unfortunate that this one didn't follow through on that. So anyway, yeah, Just Cause. Not quite there. Not the first half was pretty good, but then it just didn't. It just went south. And let's see, Bill Deal, ABC Radio Network says here, gripping, explosive, a classic thriller with a knockout finish. Yeah, no, Bill. I feel like Bill Deal misses the mark on that one, because that's definitely not a classic thriller in my books. And gripping, explosive. They lose so much tension because of the poorly executed twists. So then who cares? The acting's good, obviously top notch guy. People all throughout. I mean, there's other actors I'm not mentioning, I think, but it did well. I think actually Scarlett Johansson is the 11-year-old girl, daughter of Sean Connery in this, which was kind of cool. I mean, I didn't notice her, but I saw her in the credits, and I think that was her character. So Scarlett Johansson's in that. I love Scarlett Johansson; she's fantastic. But anyway, not a great film. So that's it. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing fantastic. And if I ever load these on YouTube, hope you're all doing great. Take care.